Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video. Once again, here on NoDQ.com as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/999, or excuse me, Aaron Rift. NoDQ.com has got your SummerSlam coverage. SummerSlam is in 1 week now. Check out NoDQ.com for the very latest. In addition to the standard pay-per-view coverage that we have every month on NoDQ, I will also be there in person at Staples Center to cover the show for the 6th straight year. I will be there at Staples Center for SummerSlam. So check out NoDQ.com. You do not have to pay $9.99 a month to go on NoDQ.com and get your SummerSlam coverage. So, huge bargain. With that being said, let's get down to your questions. First one today comes from Bo Lever. Since Daniel Bryan will not be back until January, do you see him being a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble? Please answer in video. Thank you and keep up the good work. Well, at this point, there's no guarantee when Daniel Bryan will be back. And even if he's advertised for January, he could come back sooner. He could come back later. You just don't know. But I think regardless of the case, if Daniel Bryan does come back in January, I think WWE will hold him off until the Royal Rumble and, as you mentioned, be a surprise entrant in the match. I think that would be the best way to go rather than announce his return in advance. So if he's going to be returning around that time, then absolutely I think it would be a tremendous idea to have him come back in the Royal Rumble as a surprise, similar to how Edge came back a few years ago. But then again, if he comes back in the Royal Rumble, people are going to want him to win. And if Roman Reigns is going to be booked to win the Rumble and go on to WrestleMania, you might have a repeat of last year's Royal Rumble. Who knows? So WWE needs to be careful how they go about that if they're going to bring back Daniel Bryan for the Royal Rumble. But like I said, he could be back in the next couple months, could be back Royal Rumble. Hopefully it's not past the Royal Rumble, because it would just be a huge shame if Daniel Bryan was to miss WrestleMania. But I think the odds are we will see him sooner than later. All right, this one comes from Spectre World. Do you think the Stephanie-Brie Bella match is a match worth SummerSlam? Well, it is Stephanie's first actual in-ring match in over a decade, so I guess on that hand, it's a big deal. On the other hand, it is a Divas match, but it is beyond your usual Divas match because of Stephanie's involvement, and it's getting the main event treatment. It's been the main event segment of the past 2 Raws, although the ratings were down for both shows. I think that it will be beyond your normal bathroom break Divas match, and it's got a big storyline behind it, and there's the speculation that Nikki will turn on Brie, or maybe Karma will return. And oh, by the way, during that promo on Raw, I guess Brie mentioned the phrase karma, and that, got everybody talking and speculating. So we'll see what happens at SummerSlam, but I'm guessing there's going to be something going down in that match that will keep the feud going past SummerSlam. So it's not your typical Divas match that's just a throwaway filler pay-per-view match. This match actually does serve a purpose and has a storyline behind it, and it is involving Stephanie McMahon. So will it be better quality in the ring than your usual Divas match? I mean, Stephanie, I'm sure, will do everything in her power to make that match halfway decent at least. So I do think it will be better than your typical Divas match. All right, this one comes from Keith Mitchell 84. Aaron, with Kane becoming unmasked on Raw yet again, do you think that this will lead to the unleashing of his true demon? I feel that they are maybe building to something bigger here, possibly his final run. Your thoughts, please answer in video. Honestly, I really have no idea what WWE is doing with Kane. Like Big Show, Kane is a guy who they keep going back and forth with his character. Goes from being a babyface to a heel to a babyface. Mask, no mask. It's gotten really ridiculous now. And the only thing I can assume is that maybe it is going to lead up to his final run. I'm guessing a face turn again. I mean, I can't see him just going back to the bland old corporate Kane. I'm thinking that there's more to it than that. And like you mentioned, maybe this will be his final run. But is he going to be without the mask? I mean, it's just so silly now, and I'm just tired of it, honestly. This one comes from The Wall 1979. Hey Aaron, first time asker from Sweden. Is Dolph Ziggler getting pushed now just because of The Miz looking stronger by defeating him at SummerSlam, or do you see Ziggler winning the IC title at SummerSlam? I do not see Dolph Ziggler winning the title at SummerSlam. I think that he is going to be putting over The Miz at SummerSlam. I think that he's just the guy for The Miz to beat. The Miz just won the title recently, so I don't see him losing it anytime soon. I think there's going to be a lot of unhappy people at SummerSlam. I personally would rather see Dolph Ziggler as the champion than Miz. I'd rather see Dolph Ziggler getting the TV time, but Miz is coming off the shooting of the movie, The Marine 4, and he's got this new gimmick, so they're kind of giving him a renewed push. And Ziggler, I think just the fact that he has a spot on the pay-per-view, I think fans should be happy with that. It's better than him not having any role in the pay-per-view. But yeah, it sucks what's happened with Dolph Ziggler. He should be much higher on the card than he's been. Last year when he won the world title, he had so much momentum, and to this day, no matter how much WWE pushes him down and he gets buried down the card, fans still chant for him, and he still gets one of the biggest reactions of anybody on the roster, regardless of how he's utilized. And that just goes to show you people care about Dolph Ziggler. There's that emotional investment in the character. So why they don't push him stronger, I don't know. I mean, I would rather see him. To me, being in the IC title match or the US title, it's beneath him at this point. He should be higher up the card. So at this point, I'm fine with Miz beating him, because I think that it's better to not be stuck in the mid card with the IC title, and I'd rather see them do something more with Dolph Ziggler, but probably not. Probably after this, Dolph Ziggler is going to be struggling to get on the pay-per-views again. But I really hope that doesn't happen, but that's what it's looking like, unfortunately. All right, this one comes from WWE fan Dark Arrow. Hey Aaron, what is the worst decision in SummerSlam history? I think Nexus losing was stupid as hell. Well, that was, in hindsight, a bad decision, but, I mean, there's been far worse decisions in SummerSlam history. I wouldn't call that one of the biggest. Just thinking about it, back in SummerSlam in 1993, having Luger, after all that build-up with Alex Express and trying to book him as the next Hulk Hogan, he wins the main event of a pay-per-view by count-out. That was just beyond lame, terrible finish, and just a real letdown to end one of the worst SummerSlams in history. So, that was a bad decision. Probably doing Undertaker versus Undertaker was a bad decision. I mean, it sounded like a cool idea on paper, but execution, just an awful match. Putting Mabel in the main event at SummerSlam, I mean, who came up with that one? So, I mean, they definitely made some bad decisions, and maybe, I'm just thinking ahead a little bit. Vader losing to Shawn Michaels after they had done so well building up Vader. They could have given him a run as the heel champion. There's some questionable decisions, no doubt. And, Nexus was a bad one, but I wouldn't call it one of the worst. All right, this one comes from Mem Rules. Is this Gilberto's secret handle? Hey, Aaron, love your videos, watch them regularly. I was wondering, do you think a 4-week build-up is enough to promote a pay-per-view show? And do you think we will ever see a change regarding to the weeks leading up to a specific pay-per-view? Well, I'm sure it's not Gilberto because it's not about TNA. But anyways, regarding your question, I think 4 weeks is fine. I think that they've been doing it for so long now. It's fairly standard, a 4-week build. I think 3 weeks is not enough. And history has shown when they've had 6 to 8 weeks to build up, it tends to drag, and there's too much filler, and sometimes they get off track, and it's just too long of a time sometimes, I think, when it's 6 to 8 weeks. In the pre-Monday night era, when you didn't have a live show every week, it was good, and when you didn't have that many pay-per-views, and you didn't have all the television, the live TV all the time with the big stars going at it every week, you could have a longer period of time. But now everything is so much more fast-paced, and you have 3 hours of Raw every week, stars versus stars, no squash matches. It's just too much when you have 6 to 8 weeks. 4 is the perfect amount. 2 to 3, not enough. Anything beyond that is just too much. So it's a formula that works. They've been doing it for decades now. So, just go with what works. No need to change anything. All right, this one comes from iDevons1985, and this will be the last question here. Did WWE go too far with the unnecessary JR/OU bashing on Raw, using words like idiots and so forth? JR left, let it go. Also, why not concentrate on making the product better rather than shouting about $9.99? Better product equals more buys. Luke from Korea. Well, I totally agree about the JR bashing and the little thing that JBL said about JR. Not necessary. What's the point? I'm fine with guys taking shots at other people when it's part of a storyline and the guy is there. Jim Ross is gone from WWE. There's no benefit to taking a cheap shot at him. What is the point? Now, I'm sure JBL was fed that line, and they're probably told to knock JR whenever possible because Vince finds it funny, but it's really not necessary, and it's very childish. Whoever's responsible for it, whether it's Vince or I don't know if JBL came up with that on his own. I mean, I'm guessing Vince feeds the lines to these guys. It's just really, really childish. That's all that can be said about that. And, they should, when it comes to the network, $9.99, I can't even say it. Now, try saying $9.99 10 times fast. It's difficult. But, it's not the money that's the issue. It's you have an audience out there, people that want the network, that are interested in the network, and then you have the rest of the people that are not going to spend money on WWE no matter what the price is. That's the bottom line. All right, that'll wrap things up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Tell a friend about NoDQ&A video, and I will see you guys next time for more.